Hello, and welcome to the Gamers Closet. I'm your host, Douglas Weed, and today, since this is the first weekend of October, we're going to be talking about a Halloween-themed game. The game tonight we're going to be talking about is Ghosts. Ghosts is a game manufactured by Milton Bradley in 1985. It is a secret unit deployment game, which I have covered those games in the past, kind of like Stratego. The game itself runs for about 15 minutes of game time, is rated for ages 6 and up, and is for 2 players. But let's dig into it a little further, shall we? In 1985, Milton Bradley released the game Ghosts. Ghosts is a strategy game that is loosely fitting with Stratego. The game itself has multiple ghosts that are trying to get out of a dungeon, or you're trying to capture the bad ones or let your good ones escape. The game was originally produced in Germany in 1982 and has been printed in multiple languages, including Swedish, Finnish, Hebrew, Portuguese, French, Italian, Polish, German, Japanese, and Dutch. In 2013, Asmodee Games re-released this game, now known as Phantoms vs. Phantoms. The gameplay is exactly the same, the rules are exactly the same in this new edition. When talking about this game, one other game does need to be mentioned. Waddington's put out the game Jekyll and Hyde in 1980 in the United Kingdom. The gameplay is exactly the same as every version of this game, with the exception of you're not playing a ghost. Instead, you're playing either as Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, and you're trying to figure out which one is which. But otherwise, it's the same. The game does come with multiple pieces. It comes with one game board, 16 plastic ghost pawns that glow in the dark, and one instruction sheet. To set up this game, each player is given 8 pawns, 4 with blue dots and 4 with yellow dots. Blue dot pawns are good spirits, yellow dot pawns are bad spirits. Open up the game board and put it on a flat surface between you and your opponent so that the name Ghosts faces each of you. It is important that you and your opponent never know what type of ghost the other moves. To keep the good-spirited and bad-spirited identities of your pawns a secret, always keep their dots facing you. Therefore, when you first position your ghosts on the board and later when you move them, be careful never to turn or twist them around and show the dot to your opponent. The game board is a dungeon made up of 36 rooms. Each room is a game space. Position your 8 ghosts in the 2 front rows on your side of the game board. Your opponent does the same. Position 1 ghost per space. Please note where you position your good and bad ghosts. In the strategy game, it's kind of like a Stratego feel to where you position them. The youngest player moves first. On your turn, move only one of your ghosts. Alternate turns between each move. Players can never move an opponent's ghost. There are 3 basic rules to movement. The first is a ghost can only be moved forward, backwards, or sideways 1 space in a turn. A ghost can never be moved diagonally. The second rule is a ghost can only be moved to an adjacent unoccupied space. There is an exception to this rule when capturing, which I will go over in a moment. A ghost is moved into an adjacent space occupied by an opposing ghost. And number 3 is 2 or more pawns can never be on the same space at the same time. When 2 opposing ghosts occupy adjacent spaces, a capture situation exists. Capturing is always optional. If you wish to capture on your turn, move your pawn into an occupied adjacent space and remove your opponent's pawn from the space. Keep all of your captured pawns together in an area off the game board. Capturing is considered one move. Your turn is over after you make the capture. When you make a capture, take a good look at the captured ghost's identity. Were you lucky enough to capture an opponent's good-spirited ghost? Remember, you can win if you are the first to capture 4 of your opponent's blue-dotted ghosts. If you are the first to capture 4 of your opponent's bad-spirited ghosts, the yellow dot ones, you lose the game. One way to win is to move one of your good-spirited ghosts out of a door on your opponent's side of the game board. The doors are the four corners on the game board marked with the four small black arrows. To win, by moving out the door, one of your good-spirited pawns must be sitting on one of your opponent's two corner spaces at the beginning of your turn. On your turn, move your door-sitting ghost out the door and out of the dungeon to win. As I've stated, there are three ways to win this game. The first is to have all of your bad-spirited ghosts captured by your opponent. The second is to get one of your good-spirited ghosts out your opponent's door. And the final way is if you have captured all of your opponent's four good-spirited ghosts. Then either way, you are the victor. Finally, one neat feature that I feel needs to be mentioned is your ghosts are special as they glow in the dark. Put your ghost pawns in a well-lighted area for 15 to 20 minutes or under a fluorescent light for 5 to 10 minutes, then darken the room. Just like magic, they'll give off a ghostly glow. So the game then will pick up a really cool extra eerie element. Well, this has been an overview of Ghosts from Milton Bradley. Ghosts is a very basic strategy game. It's kind of like Stratego, except with less pieces, because there are only 8 ghosts per side, 4 good and 4 bad. It is rated for ages 6 and up, so it is a really, really easy game to learn. It is a really easy game to play. It is an introductory strategy game, in my opinion, because of how easy it is to play. The rules are not very difficult. The board looks really, really nice, so they spent a lot of time on the board. The ghosts glowing in the dark is a really nice touch for the theming of this game. So if you want a good Halloween game, this would be a very good option for you. It goes online anywhere from about 10 to 30 bucks for a copy. As games go, it's not really hard to find, and it doesn't really have a lot of pieces, so you can get a copy very easily. Sealed copies do go online for about 40, 50 bucks on an average if you can find them, but a used copy will have the same playability with less money. Like I said, it's not a lot of pieces to this game. So if you haven't played an introductory strategy game before, this is a really good option, especially if you have kids that are trying to get into board gaming. So if you haven't played Ghosts before, I really would recommend playing this game. Well, that's it from us here at the Gamer's Closet. We'd like to thank you for checking out our video on Ghosts from Milton Bradley. If there's a game in the future you'd like us to review and go over, please put it in the comments below. Please hit subscribe so that way you can be the first to check out our future content. And as always, please have a great gaming day.